Hi, this is Kevin with Naples Lawn Service, and today we're doing a video on hurricane preparedness. Everything you should have in stock and be stocked up on if there's warning of a hurricane coming in your area. And we're going to go over all those things for you on that subject. Okay, so this video is really not about the bare minimum basics. It's about all the other stuff that you never think about, that nobody tells you about. But just for just for the sake of it, we're going to talk about the basics here just real quick. Obviously, you want to have a flashlight, okay, or a little lantern, okay. You want to have some batteries, extra batteries for the flashlight or the lantern or whatever else you're going to run. This is a little NOAA weather radio, so it's going to tell you any severe weather. It runs on USB. It runs on this crank here. You can crank it up. Okay, so you can find these on Amazon. You might want to have a lighter in case you have a barbecue grill and you need to cook some food. You want to have either a thermal cell to keep the mosquitoes away, or some off, because if you're outside cooking on your grill, or if you're doing anything outside, or if you got to have your windows open or whatever, you might have mosquitoes around. And first aid kit is good to have on hand. And always have some water. And you can have gallons of water. You can have a big 5-gallon. But if you've got the machine like Costco has, where you can just put this upside down on the machine, that's always nice too. Or they do make a little pump for this that you can put in, which I'm going to show you later. And it's operated on by USB charge, but it'll actually pump the water out of there. I recommend massive water, not a gallon per person per day thing like they've been telling you for years. I recommend some serious water. Okay, I would get several of these jugs. You can just get these anywhere, Walmart or wherever, and you just get them refilled like at your local grocery store, like Publix or whatever. You take them in and refill them, but you buy the bottle, it's like 15 bucks, and then once you buy it, you just go refill it for like 2.50 a piece. But and then if you can get one of these at Costco, these are to jumpstart your vehicle, and but it's like a battery inside there. They also have USB ports, so not only can you jumpstart your vehicle and it's an air compressor and all that, but it also has lights on it. It has a 110 plug and it has all these USB ports. So if nothing else, you can be keeping that cell phone charged real easily, and you can just keep this in the trunk of your vehicle. All right, now these waters, I would get a half dozen of these anyway. A couple things are good for, obviously, drinking water, but it's clean water, it's good water. The other thing is if your toilet doesn't flush because you have no water pressure, you can just put some of this in there, or you could use pool water or pond water or anything, but you just put a little bit of this in the back of your toilet, take off the toilet bowl, pour a little bit of this in there. It doesn't take much, maybe a gallon, and your toilet's going to flush for you. So that's how you get around the toilet flushing. If for some reason you lose water, you just put a little bit of water in there from your pool, from your pond, or if you have to, out of here in the back of your toilet, and it will flush again for you. So that's another benefit of having the water. But I would definitely get a half dozen of these or so. We actually have about 15 jugs ourselves for our family, but I would definitely keep the big waters on hand. Okay, here's this pump for this 5-gallon, and we'll also work on the 3-gallon jugs, but this wasn't much money on Amazon. I don't remember, 15, 20 bucks. But you just pop that cap off, you just run that down in there, hit the button, and then you can be filling just like it was a kitchen sink or something, filling up your glasses or whatever. And then this just charges back up with the USB afterwards. Okay, I would have a large cooler on hand. I would not go with some dinky little thing. It's not going to last you. I would definitely get a cooler that this one here is huge, as you can see. But I mean, you might be going days, you might be going weeks, and so you want to have a cooler that's big. You can store a lot of food and a lot of drink in there, and There's several different coolers on the market of all kinds of prices, but something like this, it starts out around 100 bucks, and then they just go up from there. Another thing you might want to keep on hand is after a hurricane, it might be flooded, even if it's just a few inches. You can have some rubber boots, really good rubber boots on hand. That might be really beneficial, because not only are you going to go through water, but that water might have pods of red ants floating in it that are going to want to cling to you and bite you, and whatever else swimming around. So I would recommend some rubber boots. That's something people don't usually think of. I definitely would not go barefoot. I know during Hurricane Ian, we had some people come down from up north, and they were barefoot, and they had a cut on their foot, and they ended up catching disease from that. And one guy actually died. So I would not recommend going around barefoot after a storm. It's something people don't think of, but it's a reality. You can definitely get hurt from being barefoot. All right, now I've been through many storms in my life, many hurricanes, many power outages. I've had little supplies to moderate supplies to a lot of supplies. And so I can tell you from experience, I've been going through hurricanes for over 50 years. I can tell you from experience that you want to be prepared, and you want to be prepared ahead of time. It's not if the storm comes, it's when it comes, because it will affect you at some point in your life. If you live anywhere around the Gulf Coast, Eastern Seaboard, Florida, Georgia, whatever, the Carolinas, Louisiana, Texas, whatever. So I would always be prepared ahead of time, whether you want to do it a little at a time, or a few weeks or a few months or over a year's time, and you just start building up your supplies so when the storm comes, you're ready. So I'll just tell you, if your power goes out and it's middle of the summer and 90, 95 degrees, you're going to be hot, and you're not going to sleep at night, and your kids ain't going to sleep at night, and your babies ain't going to sleep at night. And so it's super hot. So you definitely would recommend a generator of different sizes. You can watch my videos. I have 5 different generators I've reviewed. They're all on video on my channel. But I would definitely get a generator, because if you have a generator, you're king, okay? You are going to have power you're not going to have air conditioning, but you're going to have power for floor fans, for charging your cell phone, for some lights, a microwave, a coffee maker, all the basic stuff. So I would definitely recommend a generator, and they come anywhere from $400 on up, a portable one, on up to $1,200 or so for a portable one. That's what I'm talking about, portable one. Now, if you can do a whole home generator, they're anywhere from $6,000 to $20,000. But if you can't afford that, and we don't, we just use portable ones. Portable one is the way to go. It will definitely save you during the storm. Okay, here's one generator here. You can watch my generator videos on my channel, but just briefly, this is GP 3600, and it's about a $500 generator. But it's good for 30 amps. Generac are made in the USA. You can depend on them. This will run a lot of stuff. This will probably do your refrigerator, your microwave, and your coffee maker. Now, you may need to unplug one at a time and run the other, or whatever. But this is going to charge your cell phones, run all your floor fans to keep cool, give you some lights. It's quiet. It's fairly lightweight. It's got handles on it that come up for pulling it around, and it's just a really good generator. So for the price point and what it'll do, I would recommend this. And it's not a huge thing. It's not a huge generator. It's going to take up a lot of space, but you may think, why do I want to buy that, put that money out? But I'll tell you why. When that hurricane comes and you're without power for 3 days, 6 days, 9 days, 2 weeks, you're going to be dying. I mean, it's just going to be so hot and for so long, and you can't just go anywhere, because you might go down to a restaurant or wherever and they're out of power, if they're even open, and you can't sleep there. So people really, you would not believe the people that I recommend a generator to and who have or hadn't got one, but a generator will really save you. And there's no downside to it, okay? It's just an investment, just like anything else. And if you don't use it very often, it's gonna last you forever. It's gonna last a long time anyway. But definitely have a generator. That's like my #1 thing that I would recommend to everybody. Now, you should need to check this about once a month. You need to check it, make sure it's running. What you do is you just put a little bit of gas in, not much, just a little tad of gas, start this thing up, let it run till it runs out of gas. And when it runs out of gas, then it's ready for storage. Do not store it with gas in it. If you store it with gas in it, it's gonna gum up the carburetor and then it's not gonna run when the storm comes and nobody's gonna be able to help you get it fixed because everybody's busy taking care of their own stuff. So you should always run the gas up. But I'd say once a month, just put a tad of gas in, not just like a cup of gas. Okay, and let it run. Make sure you remember how to use it. And you can watch my video on that and then run it out of gas. And that way, when you need to use it, it's going to start right back up. Now, if you have a generator and you already left gas in it, you want to dump that gas out right away. Get that gas out of there and make sure it runs, okay? Put some new gas in it, make sure it runs, because if you left gas in it, that carburetor's gummed up, you're gonna need to get that repaired. That may take a week or two. So don't wait until the storm's on your doorsteps. Make sure this thing is running, and if you find old gas in it, dump it out, put new gas in and make sure it runs. And if it doesn't run, you can call a repairman to put a new carburetor on it for you and get you running again, because that's probably what it's going to need. So you're going to be over $100 getting a new carburetor installed on that thing. So that's my tip on that. All right, and along with the generator, you're going to need to have gas to run the generator, fresh gas. So you go out and buy some of these, okay? This one's called Midwest, and you can get these in a lot of places, Amazon, Sunshine Hardware, whatever. Some places they'll be $15. Some places they'll be $30 for the same can. But these you can get them at Rural King also. But you definitely have to have several of these. And one thing you're going to need is gas to run your generator, okay? You could be out for even 3 days, okay? You might be using 10 gallons a day. So, that's like 10 times 3, okay? That's 30 gallons. So I'm not saying get the gas right now. I'm saying get the cans, okay? And the other thing is you might need gas for your car, okay? Hopefully you filled up for the storm got here, but there's no downside to having the cans and then before the storm gets here, filling them up. And then if you don't need them for the generator, you just put them in your car over the next week or two or whatever. Just fill up your car with them. So there's no downside. I would definitely have a half dozen of these cans. I probably got myself like 20 or 30, but I would have a half dozen of these cans on hand. And you want to fill them up no later than 7 days before the storm. If you go in there 7 days before the storm's supposed to get here, you're going to be fine. But every day after that, the lines are going to get longer and longer and longer and longer. You wait to 2 or 3 days before, the lines are going to be, you're going to be sitting in a gas line for an hour, okay? So no later than 7 days before, you go fill up your cans. Like I said, if you don't use your generator, you just dump it in your car or dump it in your truck over the next couple of weeks. There's no downside. You're not going to lose anything by that. But these also should be emptied out and stored dry. You don't want to store the gas in there because you don't want to have the gas go bad. Now, I can tell you it's very hard to get gas after a storm. Number one, they may not be open. Number two, they may not take credit cards. Lots of them have a little satellite dish on the roof, fixed to their roof, and that's how their credit card machine communicates with the processor, through that satellite. Well, lots of times them satellites will get blown off or blown crooked or whatever. They don't communicate anymore. So it might be a cash-only situation, okay? So if it's cash only and you don't have cash, you might be getting gas. And even so, you're going to be standing in a line for an hour. And then when they run out, sometimes the delivery trucks can't get here. Okay, if a hurricane hits South Florida all the way up to Tampa, and those delivery trucks got to go through all those hurt places. The interstate might have trees over it, whatever. So it might be days for the delivery trucks even get back in there. And they might have ran out of gas before the storm with everybody filling up. So be self-sufficient. Go get your tanks and get them filled up 7 days before the storm so you don't put yourself in that situation. Okay, and speaking of cash on hand, I would definitely have cash on hand for a storm because, like I said, people might not be able to take credit cards. They might only take cash. It could be that way in a grocery store. It could be that way at a convenience store. So I would always have cash on hand before a storm. When you run a generator, you never run it indoors, okay? The carbon monoxide will kill you. You don't run it in a garage. You don't run it in a house. You don't run it in your vehicle. You run this away from the structure, out in an open aired area. Many years, over the years, many people have died in their sleep from running their generator after a hurricane or natural disaster. Okay, this muffler right here, this exhaust puts off carbon monoxide. Okay, that carbon monoxide will kill you. So you always run it way away from your structure. Now, having said that, you're going to need to get some longer cords. All right, so the cords you want to get, I would get 12 gauge cords, and no less than 14, but really 12 gauge cords. If you're running a refrigerator or a microwave or anything like that, it should have 20 amp cords going to it, which is number 12. Okay, you're going to want to get them probably 100 feet or at least 50 footers. Okay, here's a number 12, and it's 100 feet. But I would get at least 50 footers, and I would get probably 4 of them because you might one to your refrigerator or one to your living room or one to your bedroom or something else. So I'd pick up 4 of these, at least 50 foot, or you can get hundreds, and you're going to plug them right into here. And that's how you're going to run it. Now, if you overload your circuit, this is going to pop, and this is going to pop. It's not going to run, so you need to push it back in to reset it, and don't run as much stuff on that circuit. Now, you may think that's a lot of money. I don't want to put out all that money. Okay, you have 100 in gas cans, 500 generator, probably another 100 in cords, whatever. You may think that's a lot of money, but you'd be surprised what people spend money on that they don't think about. You know, going out to dinner, going on a cruise, going on vacation, whatever, hundreds or thousands of dollars or whatever that they spend, but they never prepare for the storm. So then they get caught in a storm. Storms are going to come. So you need to just prioritize. Do you want to be ready for the storm and gamble with it for you and your family, or you spend all of your money elsewhere? I would always have these things in stock. Like I said, the storms are going to come, and that way you'll be caught. And that's why won't be caught. And that's why we're doing this video, to try to help people. Okay, before the storm comes, you want to go out and get as much bagged ice as you can. Now, I can tell you that they're going to run out of ice. So if you got a freezer, or especially a deep freezer, you can keep that ice before the storm. That would be good. Another thing you can do is, if you have an old soda bottle or a juice bottle or a milk jug, you can rinse those out, fill them up with water, and freeze them before the storm comes, and that gives you blocked ice. Gives you blocks of ice for free, and block ice will last longer. But I would definitely go ahead and have some ice in your cooler, along with whatever food and drink you think you're going to need before the storm, until you can get a generator set up, which is what you usually do after the storm. All right, another option is these little ice makers for your house. These are $200 at Costco, and they make ice pretty quick. And all you do is fill this up with some water, and you just pour the water in there. You don't have to have it hooked up to a water line. You just pour your water in there, put it in here, hit your button, and it's going to start making ice within 15 minutes. All right, and then you just buy some of these bags here. I got these bags on Amazon, these ice bags, okay? They're very inexpensive. So you can literally be sitting here making ice before the storm and putting it in your cooler. And you can use it year round for, you know, whatever, the beach, camping, whatever. And when you're done using it, you just shut it off. But these ice makers are really cool. We have one in our RV. We have one here in our laundry room. And you can actually make your own ice. If you have a generator after a storm, you can be sitting there making ice as you go. So if you can have the means, pick one of these up at Costco. This Frigidaire, uh, what's it called? Frigidaire Gallery. And these are really nice ice makers. And I also did a video on this if you want to watch that video on my channel. Okay, now if you have a generator and you're in a rural area or a subdivision that runs off of a well, you have your own well, which thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of homes in Florida have a well, okay? If you don't have a generator, you're not having water after the storm. But if you do have a generator, you're going to be running your whole well system. That means your toilets are going to flush, you can wash dishes, you can take a shower. That's huge, okay? So that's another reason to have that generator, because you're going to be able to run this well system. And maybe not the whole time, but maybe enough to, everybody, you shut down your refrigerator or your whatever, your microwave, and you just run your well and everybody gets a shower, wash your dishes, you know, flush your toilets, and then you can unplug this and plug back in, you know, whatever it is that you're using. But if you are on a well, you have a generator, your water is going to be restored. If you're not on generator, you're going to be waiting for the power to come back on, and that may be a long time. Now, your only difference is if your well system gets destroyed. These trees up here used to have some really thick branches. It fell down during Hurricane Ian and busted this thing all to pieces, which I got it fixed. We fixed it ourselves eventually, but it took about 24 hours because we had to go to Home Depot and they had partial power. We had to pick up a little electrical component that got destroyed. So now I have an extra one of those in stock. But if your well system goes out and your water goes out and you need to shower and bathe for a few days, I'm going to show you how we solve that problem. Okay, this is how you're going to solve your bathing and showering problem. If you don't have water, you don't have access to a shower, there's nowhere to go, actually use the old swimming pool. And our family wasn't the only ones, but we just get you bar soap and some shampoo out here and hop on in there. After a day or two, it's 95 degrees, you're hot and sweaty, you will get in that pool. And we just took a bar of soap, some shampoo, and we just got in there and one at a time and bathed ourselves. So I'm just saying it's not your first choice, but if you have a swimming pool, you've been out of power for a few days, a shower will do you really good. There you go. Okay, the other thing about the pool is if it's full of like, whatever, 5,000 gallons of water, if you need to flush that toilet, you just get a 5-gallon bucket and you dip it in there, you take it over, you take off the back of your toilet, you just fill it up halfway, put your toilet cover back on, and you'll be flushing. And so that will really work good for you. Now, it's not going to take a full 5 gallons to flush. You're probably going to get at least 3 flushes out of that, but you just leave that 5-gallon bucket by your toilet. But you got the pool you can use for toilet water, for flushing toilets. If you got a pond or a stream or a lake or something like that, you can dip it in there and you can put that in the back of your toilet. And that's another way to get your toilet to flush. So that's how you get your toilet to flush. Those are just some ideas. We've done them all and they work great. And you don't need power on to flush your toilet. It's just a matter of once you flush it, filling back up that tank on the back. All right, here's some other ideas for appliances you can run when you have a generator. Air fryer, a griddle, toaster, another griddle. Okay, so these are some other things you can run if you bought yourself a generator. Okay, now whether you have generator or not, if you have a barbecue grill, that'll be huge. So that's a nice way to cook your stuff. Or if you have a Blackstone, okay, that's another nice way to cook your stuff. And you can get Blackstone just about anywhere nowadays. As far as grills go, I recommend a Weber. And you want to make sure you got a full tank of your gas and one extra tank of this gas. Keep that on hand, and that way you will be cooking. Okay, now if you really want to get techie and not lose your cell phone signal, uh, I would recommend getting one of these Starlink dishes. Uh, and the reason is because your cell phone towers could be knocked out for hours, days, weeks, and you won't have any cell phone service. But this Starlink satellite dish, this thing here just goes from where you're at to outer space, and so there's no reason that it's not going to work. This is about $300 and something, three or 350 satellite dish. You can get this at Home Depot or various places. We got ours at Home Depot. But this, and you need a subscription. And you could use this all the time on your house if you wanted to. 150, I think it is a month, unlimited. You can just set it right up to your house, or you can leave it portable like this and just set it up whenever you need it. If you're only going to need it sometimes, it's $50 a month. And I think that gives you 50 gigabytes for 50 a month. So it's just for, you know, limited use unless you buy the unlimited plan. We just got the $50 plan because we just need to be able to run customers' credit cards or whatever when either where we take our RV on vacation, we need to be able to run our customers' cards, or we also offer hurricane cleanup and cutting up logs and cleaning your stuff off your house or whatever after a hurricane. So we offer that with Naples Lawn Service, but we need to be able to run our customers' cards and stay in touch with them. So anyway, this Starlink satellite dish is just another option. It's something to think about. And I have a whole video on that if you want to watch my Starlink video. I have that on my channel as well. And its speed is super fast. And as long as you don't have a tree in your way or nothing, you're going to have Wi-Fi, you're going to have calling, you're going to have high-speed internet, all of that stuff to keep all of your devices going. So if it's just one other thing to consider. Now these come with just a kickstand. You can just set them on a table just like that. Just set them on a table and you can be done. Or you can get this mount where you can mount it on a pole at your house, or you can mount it on a pole on your RV or whatever. So I have the option of pole mounting this or just set it on a table. It's going to work just fine. Okay, so your options for keeping cool are these fans right here. I recommend these box fans. These are like $20 to $35 a piece, but these will really keep you cool. Or the other option is a window air conditioner. Okay, these are one-room window air conditioners. If you could get one room in your house cool, this is only like $150 to $200, and they just slip in any window. If you could at least get one room in your house, maybe where you sleep or the kids sleep or whatever, this is the way to go. My house has central air, but we put in these window air conditioners, so in a hurricane, we can go ahead and keep some of our rooms cold without blowing our fuse on our generator. Okay, so what I do at my house, I have one of these sheds I got for $400 off Amazon or somewhere, Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. But I just built a wooden platform and screwed the shed right to the platform. As you can see, I got all kinds of gas. I got regular gas. I got diesel gas because one of my trucks is diesel. I got some rollers. So what I do is I just rotate the gas out. As the days and weeks go by, I just rotate them out. I go ahead and use some, go fill it up. I put it to the back of the line and so on and so forth. But that's just how I personally do it. Now, here's the Midwest I was telling you about. Okay, you can also get military style gas cans. They're back here. These are called Scepters. You can find these on Amazon too. Okay, these come in regular or they come in diesel over there. All right, that's the cheapest way to go. You can buy these rollers. It's a lot more money. They're like $150 a piece, but they do come with a little gas nozzle and you can roll them around, and they're nice. You can get them in diesel. Yellow's for diesel, red's for gasoline. So you can go ahead and buy them like that. I actually got these about 25 years ago, so this is the older model, but this is the newer model right here, as you can see. Here's a newer model of the red one for gasoline. But that's just another way you can store gasoline or buy the containers and have yourself some gasoline ready to go. Okay, we've had many storms where trees just came down, limbs came down around your vehicle, around your house. You need to be able to at least walk to your front door back, or walk to your car back, or maybe get some trees off your driveway or limbs off your driveway. Can't always wait on people. There's chainsaws are a good way to go. You can get a chainsaw anywhere from $250 to $500. This is called a Farm Boss, made by Steel. If you're not comfortable running this, or it's too heavy or awkward, you can get one of these battery operated little chainsaws. These are made by Steel also. This is a Steel pruning saw. Comes in a nice little bag right here. Okay, these are about I think these are like $175 or something. You can get these at any steel dealer like Everglades Equipment Group here in Florida, or any other steel dealer. These actually do a really nice job, and they're very easy to use. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for you. And they run on batteries, and you just charge the battery with a charger afterwards. Okay, now on this electric one, you put a little bit of oil around that chain right there, or put a little bit of oil around your sprocket. You want to make sure that you put oil on there so you don't go through that chain too quickly, and then this cover just goes right back on there. Okay, so I got a piece of 3-inch oak here, or actually probably 2-inch oak. I'll show you how easily that cuts. You can see it's about 2-inch oak, went right through there, no problem. So this thing will really do a great job on most your smaller to medium stuff. And I have a separate video on this on my channel. So if you want to go ahead and watch the whole video, I recommend that you should before you operate it after you buy it. You can get these anywhere. Like I said, we get ours at Everglades Equipment Group here in Florida, but you can get them from any steel dealer. Now that little saw, pruning saw, is really nice. It just runs on batteries like this. You put them in here and charge them when you're done. And we bought an extra battery, but it comes with one. And the good thing is you don't have to use any mixed gas or mix your oil with your gas, or you're never going to have a carburetor go out or nothing like that. Now, if you want some serious chainsaw, this is our Farm Boss. It runs on mixed gas. That means you got to mix oil with the gas 50 to 1. And so make sure you have that. The other thing is you're going to need to add some oil in there for the chain. And it's called chain oil. And you add it right here. Make sure you have bar chain oil for that. Mixed gas, oil with your gas, and that you're comfortable running that. But this little thing here will do a lot of work, and it's a lot less expensive. So this gives you a couple of options for chainsawing, and don't discount it. You might have trees down. I don't care if you live in the city and you're on a canal or whatever. Had it happen there. If you live out in the country, any tree can come down, and maybe something's blocking your front door or whatever. It's a really good investment. And the rest of the year, you have the tools to go around your property and do a little work yourself. Okay, now you may say to yourself, I'm just gonna evacuate, I'm just gonna leave, I'm going up north, I'm going wherever. And you want to rethink that. If you live on the water or close to a low-lying flood area, then yeah, you might want to evacuate. But you should do it like a week before, because I'm telling you what, the highways are going to get packed, gridlock. You could run out of gas on the highway. All the hotels are usually booked up from South Florida to North Georgia, Tennessee. All hotels will be booked up. You might find all the gas stations without a gas. You might run out of gas on the interstate in the middle of a storm. Plus, you don't know where the storm's going. They say it's going to Fort Lauderdale, so they all come over to Naples. And then a couple of days later, they say, no, it's going to go to Naples. So then all the people go back to Fort Lauderdale, and back and forth and back and forth. They really don't know where that storm's going. They say it's going to Tampa, and it hits Punta Gorda. Okay, they say it's going to Punta Gorda and it hits Tampa. I mean, they really can't know that close. So moving around when it's close to a storm really isn't a good option unless you're, like I said, if you're on the water, you're going to flood, then yeah, get out. But otherwise, all of these houses nowadays are built to hurricane code. If they were built after like 95 and above, and the hurricane codes just got stricter, and you should be fine, shelter in place, and put on your hurricane shutters, and just be ready with all of this equipment I've been telling you about for after the storm. We had some friends that said, well, they're just going to go to South Carolina because that's usually a 12-hour drive. So they hopped in their RV about 3 days before, was going to South Carolina. It took them 24 hours to get to South Carolina over a 12-hour drive, and that was 3 days before. And so really isn't a good idea to evacuate unless you have orders to evacuate or you're just in a flood area. It's better just to prepare your house, get all your supplies, get all your equipment like I'm telling you about, put up your shutters, and then shelter in place. Another thing you can do to have water for your toilet for flushing is fill up your bathtub before the day before the storm comes. Fill up your bathtub and put the plug in, and that's another way to make sure that you have some water to wash up with, or you want to take a scoop out of there, put it in the back of your toilet tank so it's going to flush. But there's no downside to filling up your bathtub with water and having that water ready. And my recommendations to you is to get this stuff throughout the year. If you wait till the last minute, like 90% of people, you will be in long lines at Costco or Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you go. You should be stocking this stuff up and buying these things throughout the year and hitting the sales. Usually Costco will have a sale on generators in like May or early June. Lowe's will have 0% financing. Home Depot is always having 0% financing if you use their store card. And that way you can make payments. Like you get a generator, make payments on it over 6 months or 12 months, $40, $50 a month or whatever, and you're good to go. So you take advantage of these 0% financing offers. That's just a good way to buy the stuff and have it in stock so it's ready when you need it. When everybody else is out standing in long lines and waiting in long lines, and then they run out of the stuff before you get to cash out, it's always better just to sit home and be sipping on a tea than going out there and waiting until the last minute getting all your stuff. So there you have it. That's your video on hurricane preparedness. Hopefully you'll heed that advice and get that stuff in stock, and you'll make it through the storm safely and easily. And if you like the video, hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe, we're going to have a lot more videos coming out.